Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me again, Salikhov, Sakhib supply chain enthusiast and professional. And today we're still going to talk about supply chain management, but we will deep dive into the trucking industry, combining it with a business consultancy with a great guest, Rob Ismailov. Hi, Rob, and welcome to the program.
Hi, Sahib, and I'm also saying hi to your great audience, and thanks for the invite.
Thank you, Rob. First question is, could you please introduce yourself, talk more about your background, about your company's development, and your professional journey as well, please?
Sure, yeah. I am based out of a small town, Fort Lauderdale. It's in South Florida. I wouldn't say it's a great place for trucking or transportation, except maybe intermodal and anything related to water and containers. There are some great companies out here, but I love it. I've been here for the last 4 years. I came to the supply chain and logistics industry by pure chance. I was running my own small consulting firm, mostly focusing on small and medium businesses, helping the entrepreneurs and small medium business owners reach their dreams, scale their businesses, grow their businesses, increase sales, train their key people, key persons. And then by pure chance, I discovered that there were a lot of trucking entrepreneurs, transportation entrepreneurs from our homeland, Uzbekistan. I'm originally from Uzbekistan, Central Asia. I discovered there were a lot of business owners here. I started providing consultancy services to them. And this is how I got sucked into this industry. And they say once you're in logistics, you can never leave this field. And this is this is my experience. It's so dynamic, so interesting. A lot of things happen, and there is a ton of learning potential. So it's very tough for me to leave now. I'm just captured by this industry. I love it.
Yeah, I share the same feeling about supply chain management, to be honest, Rob.
Yeah.
About your latest company, so Truckstaff Solutions, can you deep dive into this? What you are doing specifically in the industry?
Yeah. So Truckstaff Solutions is, we dub it as the purely logistics-focused consulting firm. Its main focus is logistics companies. And it's very interesting how we came to the idea of sharing our knowledge, sharing our skills and experience through this consulting firm with our audience. We, and when I say we, myself and a few other partners have been in trucking industry many years, and we have accumulated a ton of knowledge. As you know, it's one of the fields where you learn by doing, you learn by going through different experiences. So we learned from our experience that there wasn't any focused or concentrated consulting firm, at least for small and medium companies in transportation field, which provides everything, like all major key services under one roof. Mm-hmm. So there are tons of different services, all like fragmented, separated. There are dispatch services, there are safety services, there are this, there are that. But there is not a concentrated firm which does everything under one roof. So you have to go to different places. And also another problem was a lot of these firms are mostly operated by people with no operational experience. So it's tough to get quality service from them. So this is the reason we said we accumulated a ton of knowledge. And we started sharing it with some of our friends, also trucking entrepreneurs. They loved it. This is how we established the market. We discovered market. We said, wow, there is a big need for this type of services if everything is concentrated and provided from one central spot in an organized and high quality manner. So we decided to set up a consulting firm and offering it to a wider audience. This is how we started. And Truckstaff Solutions does everything related to mostly trucking sector of the supply chain. As we know, trucking segment of the supply chain is the biggest segment. Mm-hmm. More than 75% of the loads, anything we see in the stores, in our household, they are all hauled, shipped by trucks, especially the LTL, last mile delivery, last destination. So we decided to focus on this biggest segment of the market. which is almost like 70+% in total. And this is also the toughest sector of the market. This is also the segment of the market with highest turnover, highest bankruptcies, highest cycles, the cyclical character of this market. It especially pertains trucking segment most, because they do the toughest part, hardest part of the job. And ironically, they also get the smallest payment. They are at the bottom of the food chain in supply chain. So we decided to focus on this segment specifically and share our knowledge, help them grow, help them scale, and help them succeed in what they do.
Great, great. Well, I'm really fascinated with your journey of expansion, to be honest. But if we're focusing on a difference of your company from others in the industry, from competitors, what can you tell about this more?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, I would say what sets us apart from other competitors or other consulting services out there focusing on trucking segment of the market is our operational experience. So we are operators. We're not just theoreticians or providers of services with limited knowledge. We didn't come to this segment of the market by chance. We've been operators. First of all, we have accumulated and we have time-tested all our knowledge, all our experience that we share with our clients through our own experience, through our own skin. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of operational experience. I think this is one of the biggest differentiators if you compare us to a lot of other like smaller service providers out there or consulting services. Second thing which sets us apart is we provide everything related to trucking. We don't only provide just limited services, for example, dispatch service or safety service. We provide everything, all major key services, which helps your transportation company to be successful. And we have also developed through the years very unique products that our customers love. We also provide them other than like separate services, which helps them to become successful and to build their practices in a more established and well-planned long-term view. Mm-hmm. We also help our customers with turnkey white label solutions. For example, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur or investor who would like to get into transportation, we have a solution for that. We can build for you a trucking company, a turnkey solution from scratch. And we can set out your company with 5 trucks, 10 trucks, 20 trucks, whatever you choose. We can make a customized plan. And in 2 to 3 months, you will become an owner of a really well-running operating fleet with 10 trucks, 15 trucks, 20 trucks, whatever you choose, with really highly experienced back office staff who does all the operational day-to-day. And also your company would be very well positioned to scale and grow really fast. If you want, let's say, to learn some theory or educational part, we have a very unique program called Trucking MBA. So why go to Harvard or other big name universities, right? I went to Columbia, by the way, and I know how expensive it is. And also I know like how very low promising is it is like in terms of job prospects after you graduate. In most cases, most students end up with a bunch of student loans, which drag them like throughout their life, and it's very hard to pay off. And also like very low prospects of finding a good job. So we have a Trucking MBA as a program, which teaches aspiring entrepreneurs the theoretical part, all the aspects of running and launching and building a trucking company, trucking business successfully. And also we help them as part of this program to build a very strong business plan for launching their first trucking business. And also we help them to go out and fundraise, find investor partners for their venture and launch this company with them and for them. So we also like, we are different from many other service providers with these types of like unique products that we can offer, and we've been doing for many years now.
Great. You have mentioned, I would say as a follow-up to your kind of explanation of your businesses, you have mentioned about turnkey projects. So when it comes to the turnkey business model, it's very attractive. At the same time, it's very kind of frightening because as an investor, I'm afraid of what can happen further on, during my journey. So how does this kind of model stand in comparison to other business models within
Uh,
this industry of
yeah,
transportation?
very. I would say very, very good question, and I love that you asked it because this is also like one of the most often asked questions from our prospective buyers and clients before they make the decision to purchase a turnkey product from us. So first of all, let me mention what types of turnkey products we offer currently. Other than like tons of different services, separate services, which helps transportation companies to build great practices and great business, great teams, and position them for success. We offer also three types of turnkey white label solution.
Mm-hmm.
We offer a turnkey built for you trucking business.
Mm-hmm.
We offer a turnkey built for you freight forwarder business, which is another cool business. Think about like C.H. Robinson. Think about Expeditors International. Think about moving thousands of containers over the sea, over trucks, over railroads, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like it's the next level of transportation business, right? Freight forwarding. So we can also help our clients to build a turnkey white label freight forwarding business. It takes from 4 months to 6 months. Building and launching a small fleet trucking company as a turnkey solution takes us from 2 to 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So turnkey trucking company, turnkey freight forwarding company, and the third turnkey product that we offer is trucking MBA.
Mm-hmm.
So which comes with educational training part and also implementation part. So these are three types of turnkey product that we offer. Other than that, we also have two unique products, mm-hmm. which are similar kind of to turnkey, but they are they're like good fit for already existing and running trucking companies. One of such additional products is how to scale your company, your trucking business, to 100 plus, to 200 plus, to 300 plus trucking operation, to grow into giant operation. How you do this? Because a lot of operators in this field know that it's not relatively difficult to build, let's say, 20 to 50 truck company.
Mm-hmm.
It can more or less take like 1.5 years, just a little bit effort, some learning curve, learning experience, but you can do it. Most people can do it. It's not that difficult. But bigger problems, bigger challenges start after that next stage. Like what if you want to grow it further, if you want to turn it into 80 truck, 100 plus truck operation, then you will start like seeing some really tough challenges. You will realize your systems are not ready, your people are not ready, your teams are not ready. You will end up having a lot of safety issues, which will downgrade the company, and a lot of customers stop doing business with you, or the regulators can come and shut you down, because all of it means that your processes, your systems are not ready, and you're not ready as a business owner to scale to that stage. So one of the next services we provide for the companies who have like currently 40, 50, 60 trucks, but want to make this next jump, leap, and become a 100 truck company, 100 plus, or even bigger operation, we help them to scale. We help them to prepare their systems, processes, people, and also the owner of the business himself or herself to grow and scale his business to that level. So this is another service that we provide, a unique service. Another service is a turnaround service for a struggling trucking company. Everybody knows what is turnaround. So turnaround in business means it's usually applied to a struggling company, which is almost on the edge of bankruptcy, maybe, or like really struggling, doesn't know if it's going to exist tomorrow, really struggling, and doesn't know the way out of the situation. So this is where the turnaround strategy comes handy. And we also offer it to struggling trucking companies who have come to the point that they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. They are even thinking maybe like shutting down the doors. So we also offer this type of turnaround service to put them in the right path and help them grow. So these are like additional services which sets us apart from most of the other agencies out there in the market.
Yeah, yeah, great. Kudos to you and your company, to be honest, because I'm hearing a comprehensive service, including practical solutions, educational platforms, services, and systems in in bunch that you are offering to your
Yeah,
clients.
yeah,
But we should, at the same time, we should face the market now. Given the downward tendencies that we are seeing in production, import, and consumption since 2021, I would say, coupled with higher inflation in the world, specifically the United States as well. So what's your perspective on investing in this kind of a business? Because trucking industry really, works in parallel with the
yeah,
economic indicators of the country.
yeah.
So can you expand on this as well?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think it's a great question, and it is in everybody's minds, even like in the minds of the experienced operators of transportation companies these days. Everybody is trying to guess where the markets are going, right? But I will finish up with like a little bit more answers to your previous questions because I felt I didn't answer it in full, especially with the part. What are the risks like for the investor, for the purchaser, right? So one thing which also makes us unique is we never like overpromise.
Hmm.
We say to our clients from the outset, from the beginning, that this is not the right business for everybody. It's not for everybody, and it is true. Whoever has done even like a few weeks in trucking knows that, or like in general, transportation business knows that it's a very unique field, and it's not for everybody.
Hmm.
It's a lot of stress. Why? First of all, because transportation business, including trucking, is literally in the middle of everything.
Yes.
Everything revolves around this. Like you have to deal with a lot of different types of people and partners and counter agents and clients, customers. So this makes this business very tough and difficult, challenging. Yeah, it can be very rewarding. It can be very lucrative if you build it right. But at the same time, there would be days, weeks, months, maybe years, like right now, when this business will drive you crazy, when you will doubt yourself like 1,000 times, asking yourself if I'm doing everything right, am I in the right place in general? Am I doing the right business? Or should I just quit? So it's very stressful business. At the same time, it's very rewarding business. It's not for everybody. So we never overpromise our clients, our buyers. We always tell them, hey, this is the risks, this is the stress, this is a downside, this is the upside, this is what you can expect. We also provide them with financial models and projections of how much they can earn. But again, every time we make disclosures saying this is not guaranteed. We're just sharing with you everything outright, very conservative numbers without any over-promising. So just know what you're getting into. But if you're really committed to do it, it's a great business.
Yes.
If you do it like in the right way, if you scale it, it's a great business. So we always like upfront. So this saves us a lot of waste of time too with unqualified clients, and this also helps them to make their decisions like on an informed basis. And another thing, if it's the right decision to invest, let's say, like I'll give you an example of how much our turnkey trucking company costs.
Sure.
The package of how many trucks we can get the client started with, it differs depending on his budget or her budget. Sometimes we have 5 trucks on the road at the end of the journey, and then the client takes over and he keeps growing the company. Sometimes clients wish to start with 20 trucks, we do it. Sometimes clients wish to add and start with 10 trucks, we do it. So right now we'll start working in a few weeks with a new client who wants to start with 40 trucks. So again, like it can be customized, but our most popular package is 5 trucks. It takes 2 months to build this business, to set up everything, all the contracts with the customers, all the major setups, permits, licenses, insurance, factoring services, back office, experienced back office, creating a team who does all the operational stuff, hiring 5 drivers, picking up 5 trucks, setting them on the road with the first loads for the first customers. So all of this takes 2 months. This is the 5 truck package is the most popular package so far in turnkey trucking company offer that we do for our clients. So let's say we're selling it now for 190K. So for the client to start to become an owner of a 5-truck operation, business, small business, within 2 months, it costs him 190K, almost 200K. And the client will also need around 50K in working capital to get started on top. Let's say 250K. Paying 250K in 2 months, you'll have a 5-truck operation. The trucks are not owned. They are not assets of the company. They are rental trucks. And we also equip such a company with a very strong rental account from Ryder. It's going to be a national account with Ryder, which allows the clients to rent trucks and trailers anywhere from Ryder locations nationwide. And this will position them to scale really fast. And we teach them how to operate with rental truck model, because this is our success story too. This is how we built a successful trucking company with like hundreds of trucks. So we'll teach them basically our own model with rental trucks. But let's say the client has 250K to spend. He can do either with us and set up a 5-truck operation and grow it further, have all the back office experienced staff, all the setups, etc., etc. Or the client wants to do it on his own with the same amount of money. What he can do? If we compare the alternatives, our option, our offer is the best in the market right now. I can say it like without any hesitation. If the client decides to do it on his own, what else he can do with 250K? He can buy one new truck and have left in his hands maybe like 30K in working cap, but he has to do everything on his own. It's a lot of errors, a lot of potential for errors, a lot of work, a lot of efforts. He doesn't have any staff members. He has to do everything on his own. And who knows if he can do it or no, if he has experience doing it. Or he can buy 2 or 3 old trucks. But again, all the rest he has to do on his own. The same struggle, the same challenges. If you compare 2 options, I think it's obvious which option is the best one. Of course, like we think like our product is best one, because you start running with 5 trucks instead of 1 or 2. You get fully experienced back office staff. You'll get dispatchers. You'll get track and trace specialists. You'll get safety specialists. You will get accounting specialists. You will get fleet specialists. You will get driver recruiter. So all the operations will be taken care of for you. And though all these back office people will work in 3 shifts, everything is accounted for: salaries, overhead, fixed expenses, variable expenses. Everything is accounted for. We provide the business model for this type of operation, which is tested by time and which positions the company to scale really fast into bigger operation. I think if you compare those 2 things, our model is the best offer out there in the market right now. That's why it's so successful and so popular among our clients. So we explain all of this to the client upfront. We explain the risks, we compare different offers, alternatives in the market, and then we let the client to make their own decision. We don't pressure. This is like answering your question.
Yeah, great details.
The markets, your later question, I think we have been in a downwards market in terms of freight and the rates per mile for the last 15 to 18 months. And historically, if you look at all such downward cycles in transportation, in supply chain, it has never been longer than 2 years. So we're almost like approaching the 2-year mark very soon. A lot of bad apples, bad actors left the market. They were kicked out of the market, especially the ones, if you're speaking about trucking companies, especially the ones who purchased their trucks and trailers at a very high price at the peak of the market during COVID years. There were like many cases when the trucking companies, seeing how the rates per mile were high, they were purchasing trucks for 180K, 190K, 240K per truck. This is crazy. So these companies were the first ones to get kicked out of the market because they couldn't afford anymore paying for their trucks when the markets tanked. They went down. So it's always like this. When the downward cycle starts, the balance repositions itself. The balance between trucking supply, trucking service supply. It's always supply demand, right? And the balance between demand for trucking services, it always repositions itself. And when everybody is seeing those crazy high rates per mile during COVID years, at the peak of the market, a lot of new entrants entered the market. A lot of existing players, they added more capacity, more trucks at a very high price. This increased the supply for trucking services to like unseen levels. There were more trucking companies, there were more trucking services supply than demand. So this, of course, brought to decreased demand. This, of course, brought to decreased rates per mile, and the market has to correct itself. Now we have seen a lot of companies, especially the ones who purchased really expensive trucks, went out of business. Now we are experiencing the first signs that the balance is again repositioning itself. It's equalizing itself, the balance between supply and demand. And we started seeing some first signs of market correcting itself again and positioning itself to move upwards again. And when this period starts, it has already started. This type of cycle, again, goes on at least for 3 to 4 years before the next correction. So I think we are in a very great spot now to expect upward movement from the market. A lot of experts are saying it's going to take us maybe another 1 or 2 quarters in 2024 to start seeing like real improvements in terms of rates per mile. I believe so. But the rates are already good. They're already improving. If you compare to the rates of like back in May or April 2023, now it's much better. So I do believe so. We are positioned for growing rates per mile for good, strong freight market very soon. And again, like there is never right time to enter this business. If you enter at the peak of the market, of course, your cost of entrance would be very high because everything would be very expensive. Trucks, trailers, everything, because the demand would be high. And competition would be high. You will struggle gaining more business, signing up new contracts, etc., from the clients. But if you enter at the time like now, the barrier to entry, the cost for entry is relatively very low, and also the chances of you as a new entrant establishing yourself in the market and gaining more business, gaining more customers is relatively higher. So I would say there is never a right time to do this. It all depends on your commitment and on your long-term view as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. If you have long-term view and commitment, any time is good.
Yeah, great note. Especially when you covered about risk aspect. Well, first of all, every business is about risk. Like how much risk can you bear is the main question before you enter into the market. And objectively, I have also read about Coyote Logistics report, and the market kind of projection is very positive, to be honest. From this period on, like from 2024, there is new peak to come. So I'm also positive about the market as well. Well, let's see. The time will show.
Yeah. Again, for a long-term view entrepreneur, for a long-term view business, I don't think like the markets are like a big like deal breaker. You know. Yeah. It doesn't affect or identify your decision whether to stay in this business or to be in this business at all or not. If you have long-term view, I wouldn't say. And I couldn't say any market is good. Of course, upwards looking freight markets are always good. You will make more money because the spread, the margin between your cost per mile and rate per mile would be bigger.
Yes.
The markets shrink. It's not always. It's not. I cannot say it's good, but again, like it's a reality. The spread, the margin between your cost per mile and rate per mile would be smaller relatively. Or sometimes you'll be just breaking even, just covering your costs and not making any money. Everybody makes money. Your drivers make money. Your office people make money. Your employees will make money, but you as a business owner won't make money. I mean, it's part of the reality.
Yeah.
In tough markets, you'll just have to weather it out and make sure you don't go bankrupt. You don't go out of business, because you know that eventually good times will come, and then you will make most of the money. And again, I don't think good markets, bad markets should affect your decision or anybody's decision who has long-view term, long-term view to be in business or not, especially in transportation business. I want to give just one example from recent news. In December last year, in December like 2023, just a few weeks ago, a giant transportation company from Canada, TFI International, they purchased, they bought out a U.S. trucking company named Daseke. So Daseke was founded by Don Daseke. That's the founder's name on the company, in the company's name. But it was founded by Don in 2008, and Don founded it as the only flatbed operation trucking company, only doing flatbed loads. So they grew the company a few years until the company reached like $30 million in annual revenue. Very easy to do in trucking. Even like smaller companies can reach $30 million annual revenue, because the cash turnover is big in trucking. A lot of money comes in, a lot of money goes out. So he grew it to a $30 million company. He grew it to 60 trucks company, only doing flatbed. And from there, they successfully utilized their own cash flow and other people's money from lenders, from banks. And they started looking out for successful smaller flatbed operations, flatbed companies around the US. And they ended up over the years acquiring 19 flatbed companies, which brought to, until recently, their total number of trucks to almost 7,000. Their total number of trailers owned by the company to almost 11,000. And these were their numbers, and their revenues were at that level already, like billions. And then TFI came and bought them out. And TFI paid them $1.1 billion. So again, if you imagine from 2008 to 2023 December, how many times market has changed in trucking, in transportation? At least I would say 4 times, right?
4 times, yeah.
Did it affect the company's growth, Daska's growth? No, they kept acquiring more companies, they kept growing the business. So this is the example of long-term view.
Sure.
Again, I'm not saying like everybody will be able and should do like such big acquisitions and such big scaling, but in a smaller scale, in a smaller size, it's doable, it's realistic. So if you have such long-term view, I don't think like markets should affect your strategic decisions.
I agree. So moving to the next stage of our discussion, it's about details of your service, I would say. So you were mentioning about an exit strategy. If you speak in a business language, every business owners more or less have some kind of strategy of exits. Some play short, some play long, but they all are thinking about some kind of exit strategy. It could be IPO, it could be acquisition, it could be just exiting from a market. So from this perspective, what kind of different forms of exit strategies you can recommend to the business owners based on their unique situations and goals?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, especially for the people with long-term view. I think there are several scenarios. One scenario is, of course, very classic. You can keep growing your company, you can keep scaling your company, make it 100 trucks operation, if you're talking about trucks. Then add a freight brokerage as a related business, which will double, triple, quadruple your business. Then add warehouses, then add 3PL logistics, etc., etc. Like variations are unlimited on how much you can scale and add related businesses to this combination. But one option is remaining a privately held company, privately owned company. you're your own boss. You don't have a board of directors. You don't have investors to report to. You can fire anyone. You can hire anyone. You can downsize the company. You can grow the company. You can, you're your own boss. So you can keep it as a privately held private company and keep growing it. This is one option. I would say a great option. Another option is if you want to have more access to capital markets, because it's one thing when you're a private company with really strong cash flow, strong financials, you still have a lot of offers on the table from banks, lenders, private equity firms, etc., investors who would like to work with you and who would like to finance your next stage of growth and who would like to go into this game with you. This is one thing. If you're successful and have strong cash flow and financials, you have a lot of such offers, even as a private company. But it's totally different scale, different level, and different level of access to more capital, bigger money, if you're a publicly traded company. So another scenario could be at a certain point, you might decide, hey, I'd like to become a publicly traded company to access capital markets. Mm-hmm. This is next level of money, next level of capital. And what it is good for is, especially if you have goals like acquisition, growing by buying out other more or less successful companies. If you see that adding them to your portfolio makes your business more successful. Let's say like you're a 100-truck company in Chicago, and you've been watching and you've been keeping an eye on another successful company with 150 trucks from Ohio, with great contracts from the customers, with great terminal, with great people, back office employees, key people. So if you have access to greater capital, let's say from public markets, and you can try to make an offer to the owner of that company and buy it out. So this is how it can be used. So if you have like these types of ambitious goals, if you want to like go on acquisition plan, strategic acquisition plan like Daske did, with 19 acquisitions from 2008 to 2023, you can do it more effectively, more efficiently, and much faster by tapping into capital markets. And you can tap capital markets only if you become a publicly traded company. So there's few ways of doing it. You can list as an initial IPO and become a public company. It takes somewhere from 8 to 12 months. It takes some type of financial commitment to be prepared for this, but it's doable. Or another way is like you can merge with another smaller publicly traded company and use them as a shell company. Mm-hmm. And then this way you can become a public traded company much faster. So there are different options, but this is one scenario other than staying private. Another good combination in this regard could be also like, which can be like which can be carried out by both options, either private or public, is doing strategic acquisitions. Mm-hmm. To grow faster by way of acquisitions and rolling them up under your company. So this is what Daske did. This is what, for example, XPO did. XPO became the XPO it is right now by the way of acquisitions too, and by the way of roll-ups. So XPO was a small company in 2012. They had access to capital markets because of the founders connections, Brad Jacobs, and they started acquiring other successful transportation companies from 2012. From 2012 to 2015, they acquired 17 companies, and this is what made XPO. Yeah. Now they have more than 16,000 trucks, 9,000 containers, 40,000 trailers. They also have 202 million square feet of warehouse facilities all around the world. They're among the top 5 logistics companies, logistics firms in the world. So again, yeah, all of these combinations and strategic acquisitions and roll-up strategies can be carried out by both privately held and publicly traded transportation companies. So exit strategies are like numerous. It all depends on your commitment, on your ambition, on your, of course, team, because it's always a teamwork. It's not one person job.
Yes.
So yeah, the combinations, the possibilities are unlimited.
Yeah. You've covered the great word, and I would say it would be a keyword to the next question here, XPO. The companies that acquire it and scaled up their operation by the acquisition, I would say so. But there could be a worst case scenario when the company needs to do a turnaround. So there are different options. It could be turnaround or scaling. So in regard to your business consultancy, what specific strategies or services does your company provide in this domain for the truckers and business owners in the trucking industry?
Yeah. So we have already such a separate standalone service. It's called Trucking Turnaround. So we work with struggling companies who have like hit some like bottlenecks in the operations. They've built like company to a certain level, let's say like 20 trucks, 40 trucks, 60 trucks, yes. 80 trucks, but they're facing a lot of challenges. They're losing money, they're bleeding cash, they're not growing, their best people are leaving, their best customers are leaving. They have a lot of issues on safety side. They are expecting every day to receive a safety audit from the regulators, and they don't know like what will be the outcome. What else? A lot of the driver retention is very low. Most of their drivers work with them just a few weeks or a few months, then leave the company because they don't like it. So all of these signs are signs of a struggling company who is a good candidate. Maybe yes, maybe no. It depends also on if the people who works with the owner are ready to do a turnaround plan. So all of these signs are signs of a company in a tough situation, and signs of a company who can be a candidate for a turnaround strategy. So we do offer such service, and in most cases we start the process, we kick off the process with analysis, with studying the current situation of the company. We spent many days both on the site, on the location, and off-site remotely with the owners of the company, with the management team of the company, asking tons of questions related to all aspects of their operations. And of course, we sign NDA, non-disclosure, non-circumvent, no-compete agreements, so they have peace of mind, sharing their most sensitive, valuable information with us. We are professionals in this regard. But yeah, we spent a lot of time in the beginning trying really to go deep, to dive deep into the company, trying to understand what are the problems, what is causing those problems, and what could be the potential solutions. And after such research and study period, we come up with a detailed report. We outline all the recommendations, all the problems, all the recommendations for potential solutions, and also recommendations on implementation plan. And after the owners of the company, they get acquainted with our report. We give them enough time. We do a few sessions on discussing the outcome of the report and recommendations. And if they wish to go further, and if they wish to utilize our help with turnaround plan, we help them to implement that plan. So this is like a separate engagement. It takes a few months depending on the situation. And in that implementation stage, we usually help to reposition the company. Yeah. We help the company to build better systems, better processes, better people, better training systems for their people. We help the company, among one of the many first things, to install and to introduce key performance indicators across all their departments, so they know how to measure what they're doing, because if you cannot measure what you're doing, like, you cannot grow. So we implement them with all of this repositioning. So they turn around their company and face it towards success and towards growth.
Great, great. So let's concentrate on the threat in this industry, in the trucking industry specifically. Threat in the form of availability of drivers. That's really important in trucking companies. But there's a growing shortage of drivers, what I'm seeing now, because of aging demography, especially when it comes to United States.
Yeah.
So what's your stance in this situation?
Yeah. I would say, again, like, this is my perspective from the practical point of view. I read a lot of reports, some of them that you're referring to, on the driver shortage problem. This topic, like, comes up every once in a while on different media, industry media, and industry conferences, gatherings. I wouldn't say it's not legitimate. I wouldn't say it's not it's fake, but at the same time, I would say that it's over exaggerated. Just from practical standpoint, being an operator, we deal with it like on a daily basis. We treat our drivers as our assets, as our clients. We always teach our own staff, and we always also teach our clients who are building their trucking companies with our help, using our turnkey products. We always teach them this philosophy, this approach in terms of drivers. We tell them that, hey, you should be very careful. Like, although we say we are in trucking, or we are in logistics, we are in transportation, in essence, we are in people business. We are not in transportation. We are not in logistics. We are in people business, because everything you do throughout the day and night, because work doesn't stop in transportation at night too. As you know, there are no holidays, no after hours, no weekends. Work goes around the clock without any stop. So we tell our clients and also our staff that we are in people business. That's why it's very important to keep in mind that you have two types of clients in this business. If you're a trucking company, you have two customers. One customer is the broker or shipper who gives you the load, the shipment, and trusts you to take this load from point A to point B. And your second customer is your drivers. You should treat them as customers. You should treat them with the same respect, with the same honor you would show to a client who is giving you money, who is paying for your job, who is giving you business. Most of the times, trucking companies forget that drivers are not clients, and they start treating them as their employees. Yes, they are your employees on paper, based on the contract, but at the same time, they are your main assets. They are the ones who are doing the toughest part of the job, being there away from their families all the time. And you should treat them as your clients. Yes. This will affect the retention rate in your company when it comes to drivers. The better you treat them, the more you treat them as clients, not as employees, the higher would be your retention ratio. The longer the drivers will stick to your company, and the longer they will work with you. So this is key, treating them as clients, not as employees. And in terms of driver shortage, again, I wouldn't say it doesn't exist, but at the same time, I would say it's over-exaggerated by some experts, some media people, some journalists, etc., who don't come face-to-face with reality every day. I would say there are more than enough drivers in the United States, CDL drivers. Yep, older generation, classic CDL drivers, mostly white, mostly from Midwest, etc., They're getting old. They are getting old, or they're like getting dissatisfied with this industry, and they're leaving to do other jobs, either by age or by choice. But at the same time, there are a lot of new drivers incoming. There are a lot of people studying for their CDLs, going through internship or apprentice programs in existing companies, trying to learn the trade, to learn the skill. I don't agree with the driver shortage as a like overall like big problem. I see the problem is a little bit different one. The problem is a retention problem. Drivers are like, they're free people. They're the most freedom-loving people, CDL drivers. And they don't care like if you're owner of the business, if you have like millions in your bank account. So the moment they see that the company is not treating them well, they will leave the company. They change the company, they jump the companies very much and very often. So this like kind of maybe makes it similar to like there is some kind of like overall driver shortage, but in essence, there isn't any shortage. There are more than enough drivers. The problem is retention. The problem is how long the driver will stick to your company and will work with you. So if you, first of all, they care about loads. They care about making good money. And they care about, of course, good treatment, good conditions. So if you take care of these aspects of work, like I don't think you will experience as a transportation company with any driver shortage problem.
Yeah, I would totally agree that the trucking industry as a whole is a people and customer-centric industry, and the driver itself is an internal customer, as you said. But is it possible? Okay, I would dare to ask still: is it possible to get rid of the driver kind of problem? I would say through autonomous vehicle. Let's say like Tesla is doing something, Nikola is doing something in the market. So yeah, what do you think about this kind of potential alternative in this industry?
I don't think it's coming anywhere sooner. And there is one like a really objective issue why it's not coming sooner. The infrastructure, the electric grid, which should be ready to charge that many vehicles and relatively in a shorter period of time so they can keep running. The grid system, the infrastructure, all of the US is not ready to make this shift. So unless this problem is solved, which requires trillions of dollars, not even billions, it won't become a massively like accepted practice. Yeah, some companies are testing now, some routes in some states. They have like venture capital money. They're trying to push through this idea. Yeah, it's a good intention, but again, like realistically, I don't see it coming like maybe within the next at least like 15, 20 years.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I would agree that the electric station is not enough to cover the whole states, especially when we talk about the United States as a whole. But Biden administration is doing something now. You know, they are kind of investing money. Maybe, as you said, like after 20 years, we can see some improvement in this as well.
Yeah, takes a long time.
Yeah, you were mentioning about MBA program. As a person who has an MBA background, well, I'm still in progress of getting MBA in supply chain management, but I'm really curious about what kind of MBA program you have in your company and how it helps people, specifically in trucking industry, to improve their knowledge and skills.
Yeah, I would say our MBA, trucking MBA program is only a good fit and good program for practitioners. So if you're an MBA graduate, right? Let's say like if someone is studying for their MBA degree at any like average, let's say average grade, average class school, not Ivy League, not community college, but let's say average grade, like which costs like let's say from 30 to 50K a year in terms of tuition. If you're studying for an MBA program, the reality for most MBA graduates is they graduate with a bunch of student loans, and then they go to work for someone else.
Yeah.
And I know Harvard is doing something. They have a special program now for MBAs who would like to choose it as a major. If they choose it as a major, they can become ETA. So they call it ETA. It's entrepreneurship through acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
So while they're finishing their MBA program, they start looking for businesses which they can purchase, involving investors' money, investor partners' money. They can also like set up some type of search fund where investors will even finance the search process while you're searching for a right business. You're finding a right business. If you decide to buy a business, existing business, it's a lot of work. You have to look at many businesses in order to choose one good one. So Harvard is trying to do something like this to promote the idea that after graduating from MBA, you don't have to necessarily go and work for someone else in someone else's business with all that skills and hundreds of case studies you have studied with your professors and et cetera, but you can go and acquire a business and become your own boss. It's a great idea. It's a noble idea. It's becoming popular the last 10, 15 years. This whole idea of entrepreneurship through acquisitions and search fund concept, but it's still like very small following. It has still very small adepts and followers as an idea, as a concept. So our approach in launching our trucking MBA is in the same realm. We're trying to do the same thing, less expensive, much less expensive than Harvard, and more practical, and focusing on trucking. So what our MBA program in trucking offers is we have theoretical part. We educate the person who purchases this program from us. We teach them all the ins and outs of trucking business, all the aspects, by undergoing with them by a lot of trainings and sessions. And after that, we also help the person to build a business plan to start and launch his first trucking business. And we also, at that stage, we advise and help the person to find investor partners, to find the money to set up and launch his first trucking business. And when he or she is successful finding money for the implementation part, we help the person to build and launch his first trucking business. So I would say it's very practical, and somehow it's very similar to a search fund and entrepreneurship through acquisition.
Yeah, I agree. I'm studying in UWMS, and we have this kind of similar program. It's called Wave Practicum. It's kind of under the MBA program, and you can offer your business concept, and you can find investors. Like it's similar to this platform, and well, you are doing a great job. It's a very noble job, and I'm sure you will have a success in this. And is it online or kind of physical in person?
It's online. It's online. Of course, the person can visit our offices in the US office. We have offices in US. We have offices in Uzbekistan. They sometimes some of our clients visit our offices and do part of the training in our offices. And most of the time, it's remote. It's online education.
Oh, great, great. Let's go back to what you have mentioned before again about adjacent businesses. Well, let's think from a business owner perspective. As a business owner, I want to expand my operations or diversify my operations. So how can you help the businesses to synergize their trucking experience in this industry and explore more opportunities to diversify their portfolios?
I think starting with trucking is a great idea because, again, trucking is the biggest part of the market. There are a lot of trucking companies. There are much more, like more trucking companies than any other types of logistics companies out there. Why? Because most of the loads, most of the shipments they they hauled, they're shipped by trucks at the end of the day. So that's why there are more trucking companies than any other types of logistics companies out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I would say it's a good idea to start with trucking if you want to build a business conglomerate, a whole transportation holding with different portfolios. It's a great idea to start with trucking because of the segment of the market. It's the biggest. It's also at the bottom of the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
It does the toughest part, hardest part of the job. It gets the smallest amount of payment if you compare it to other logistics players, logistics companies. This way, it's at the bottom of the food chain in logistics, in supply chain system.
Mm-hmm.
This way, starting with trucking, it gives you a lot of grassroots, fundamental experience to learn the trade, to learn the business, the whole supply chain system from grassroots, from the ground. And it's also a very great business to open a lot of doors for you.
Yes.
To other areas of supply chain business, logistics business. If you start from trucking, a lot of other doors will open to you because, again, a lot of the action happens in trucking. If you think about supply chain system, almost like 70% of the action happens in trucking with the help of the trucking companies, with the help of the trucking entrepreneurs and their CDL drivers. Without them, the system won't be just able to operate because it's a big part of the market. That's why starting with trucking gives you a lot of experience to get to know the system as a whole, how the things move, how the system operates. And it also opens a lot of doors because if you started with trucking, that means you have capacity. Capacity means in supply chain, trucks, trailers. And if you're in other parts of the business, warehouses, assets, ships, if you move containers on the water. So railroad, train, chassis, trailers, all of this means capacity. So assets, heavy assets. So trucking is very asset heavy because you have to operate with trucks and trailers. So it's very easy also having trucking to then open doors to other businesses. And I would say in terms of adding up and building it as a conglomerate, as a transportation portfolio,
mm-hmm.
after you set up the trucking company and scale it to more or less like good level, and after you've spent like at least like 2 or 3 years building good financial track record and also experience, I think it makes a lot of sense to add as a next level freight brokerage, because you have operated as a trucking company, you have come across a lot of customers, you have built strong track record with working with a lot of customers. They know you as a trucking company, they know you won't let them down, they know your trucks, your drivers always come on time, on time pickup, on time delivery. You take care of issues immediately, you notify them of issues immediately, inform them of issues, because issues always happen with anyone, especially on the road. But they know you. You have built good track record with them, good name with them. So this makes you a very good candidate if you open your freight brokerage too and go now to the same customers saying, hey, I've been working with a trucking company, delivering small amount of loads. Now, let us try to work as a freight broker. Give me and trust your 100 loads, 200 loads per week with me so I can distribute it among other trucking companies and manage it. I'll take care of load management. I'll take care of load distribution. I'll also make sure every job gets done because I know how it's done because I worked with the other trucking company. I know this side. Now let me be now on the other side as a freight broker and move not 1 or 2 loads with you, hundreds of loads with you every week. So this is next level. And because you have worked with them as a trucking company and built good name, good track record, it will be easier for you to set up this business and launch it too. And I'm saying easy, it's never easy. but it will be more realistic and doable. Some companies also add warehouses for distribution and redistribution and storage of the loads of their customers at that point or later after they build their freight brokerage. It's additional revenue. It's a standalone business. It allows you to offer a wide variety of services to your customers. So it's always a good idea as a next business idea. Building warehouses, owning warehouses, owning your real estate, owning your land, owning your buildings, which is a great leverage. You can show them as a collateral, borrow more money, borrow more capital, buy cooler businesses, add more businesses, buy more land, build more warehouses, etc., etc. So the more you do it, the better it gets. But in terms of the logical steps, in terms of adjacent related businesses to trucking, I would say these are some of the businesses which comes to mind.
Got it. Got it. Well, great explanation. Thank you for your answer. So what are your thoughts, I mean, within the short time period and long-term projections when it comes to the trucking industry? Like, what are you thinking about both domestically in the United States and globally, how it will shift or how it will develop?
I would say the market is bound to growth.
Yes.
To growing and to going upwards because we've been in this down market too long now, almost 18 months. I do really think the rates are improving last 3-4 months. The margins between rates per mile and cost per mile is getting better, the spread. It's not fully there yet. It's not like near there yet too, not fully even, but it's getting better. And I do expect the markets are bound to growth and to much better rates. And again, for any long-term view business owner in this field, I wouldn't tie up my success, or I wouldn't tie up my strategic decisions. Yeah, tactical decisions, yes, of course, always you factor in everything. You take into account everything you can. But I wouldn't tie up my strategic decisions with where the market is moving, like, because honestly, everything is bound by markets. Everything is within the markets. When it changed, it changed. When it corrects itself, it corrects. It's always a good practice in transportation to save more money when the times are good. So you have like more financial cushion to fall on if the times are not good anymore, and to plan accordingly. For example, there is a great strategy. Everybody speaks about top line and bottom line, right, in terms of financials. Top line is gross revenue, bottom line is income, right, net income. But it is always like this from traditional accounting standpoint. We always pay ourselves at the end as a business owner, right? That's why we call it bottom line. We put all the net income after everything, after all expenses, after all overhead, business-related expense, operating expense, taxes, interest, depreciation, and then we look at if we have any income or no, net income, and then we pay ourselves. But again, this is from a traditional accounting standpoint, but when the times are good, I would say it's a good strategy to put into a different account to save 5 cents, 10 cents from every single dollar, which is coming to your business. And it's very easy to do in trucking, especially in transportation, because the cash turnover is so high. A lot of money comes in. But when the times are good, if you don't put aside some money, a lot of money goes out too. Because it's very, very capital intensive business.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, Rob, from this point on, we can finalize our discussion, to be honest. And first of all, thank you for being a part of this program and expressing your thoughts about trucking industry, / trucking business consultancy. Again, well, I wish you best of luck with your company's business growth, to be honest, and see you next time again.
Yeah, likewise, likewise, my friend. Thank you for your time, and looking forward to joining a program again.
Sure. And ladies and gentlemen, please find the company's contact information and close it in this YouTube description. I will make sure you'll have all contacts, telephone numbers, and emails so that you can contact Rob or his team as well. Thank you again, Rob, and see you next time. Take care.
You as well. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Bye-bye.